This podcast contains adult content and adult language. In no way does this reflect the opinions of other contributors of Good Morning Gloucester or FiestaCasts. Your discretion is advised.
The year we're born all the way until this day. Fiesta is what we look forward to in Gloucester.
It's amazing. I row because of the family and the community.
We practice, we go out. We practice, we go out. We practice, we go out. We have a good time.
Good morning, Gloucester. This is Alicia Unleashed, and this is episode 81. Yes. And we have some awesome guests tonight, and we're going to get to hear about this amazing project that is happening right here in Gloucester, and when it's going to drop and all that stuff, because there's so much that goes into it. So
and we're on location.
We are on location.
We are back for location round number 2 at the Kimberly compound.
Yes. So first we had Hannah. You know, we were her very first podcast. You know what? I think this is a theme. We have
podcast virginities because I'm in. I am here for
I mean, we have had people that have never been on a podcast before, and we are the ones that, you are the one that you line them up.
Yeah.
So
I can't say that about our 2 guests tonight. This boss man got to one of them first.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Our podcast cherry has been popped.
Yeah, and you used to be a part of that podcast. Hold on, give me a second. It's the one that Joey used to run with all the guys,
fellas, dudes.
It was.
I can't even. It started with an H.
Welcome to Weber Grills.
Weeze or Big Boy Cat.
Homie
Cast. Remember Homie Cast?
I do. Is that in the archives now?
I think it's literally in the Gloucester Public Archives.
Yeah,
in the library.
I think so.
It's been so freaking long.
About 2 years?
200 probably since we've done one.
That's about right.
I mean, I just have no idea how long it's been.
Right.
It's so sad. But yes, which really kind of, honest to God,
opened the door for us. You're
motivated this.
Yeah.
To start because of Joey's bitching about you spying. Remember?
Right. Yeah, I'm the spy.
Yes,
I'm
the
spy. And then when I don't drop by anywhere anymore, he asked why? I haven't dropped by.
Because you moved on to bigger and better pastures.
Apparently.
Exactly. What do you want, like 100? You want to pack us 100 now? What is this, 85?
This is 81.
81.
My God. So I think, we did like 2.
Yeah, no, we definitely have. So we have Craig Kimberly, we have Sean O'Laughlin in the house.
Yes.
So
what's up, bro?
And BSide.
Nice to be here.
What up?
So we usually do a hot plate at the beginning, and we talk about what's happening in the area. But because this is strictly a FiestaCast, it's what we've been doing for the past 3 years. We've been focusing on things that are happening in Fiesta. So this year we're killing it, though.
We're crushed it.
Yeah, definitely. Because in the next episode we have Samo Frontiero.
Yes.
And
the oldest greasy pole winner.
The
age of 42.
Oh, he was the oldest to ever win it at 42.
Yes.
So I can break that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
You can walk in his honor.
Coming in hot at 47, I'll break that shit.
All right. You can walk in his honor. Listen to the podcast.
Oh, okay.
You can see if you get some tips.
You got some takers?
So the one thing, so we'll just do a hot plate right quick. Actually, is night 3 tonight of the St. Peter's Novena, which Sister Felicia and crew, they participate in. I do not. I only participate in St. Joseph's Novena, and that's it. So I think they're doing the Mother of Grace Club. I think that's where they are, and that's where, right? Mm-hmm. Am I right?
So that's where Kevin Bacon would be tonight.
Oh, she does that?
Yes, her grandmother runs it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, okay. I gave you her name too.
Oh, is that the one? Is that like across from Dunkin's there?
Yeah, it's across from like Nicastro driving school.
Yeah. To Taco
that's tonight, huh?
That's the Mother of Grace Club. So it's night 3 of 9.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So
love those women.
So let's get right into it.
Let's do it.
It's awesome. So first of all, I know you guys are doing a project together, and we're going to get into that, but I know you both separately. Well, I know Sean when he was growing up, because Sean doesn't remember me, and that's okay. But how the heck do you guys know each other? Or how, this is like
Fiesta. Isn't it crazy? You're looking at us like, how the hell did these two meet?
Yeah.
Fiesta brought us together.
Yep.
So probably 3 or 4 ago.
Maybe 4 years ago.
Four Fiestas ago.
You know him that long?
Yes.
What?
But there's a gap. Wait for it.
Okay.
So I'm on the White House with the double porches in front of Fiesta Pole.
Of course.
Right?
On Beach Court.
Now, right on Beach Court. And I have somehow made friends with anyone that's lived
Of course you have.
downstairs because I roll up with my camera and say, "What's up, yo? How's it going? 12-pack in tow. Can I come up here and shoot some video?" Early enough, they're like, "Hell yeah." So no matter who moves in there, that's my game. So if you live there now and you're listening, I'm coming to you. So I roll up on them. And so I'm up there filming, one of the years, 4 years ago. And I think, Sean, did you just walk up to me on the porch?
Yeah, I saw the camera and the tripod, and I was a production assistant at the time, and so I asked him if I could shoot some footage with him.
You just
So you just-
totally
you-
was like, hey, I see someone filming. I'm just going to go talk to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. And I was like, here, here's the camera, go for it.
Wow.
Did I put up the drone? Is that what it was?
Yeah, you put up the drone. And
So yeah, I'll put up the drone. You shoot this.
I'm sure I shot some unusable footage. And
So when you say you were a PA, what were you a PA on? Were you on something also local? Or
Production assistant.
No, I know what that
No,
means.
I'm saying for these people behind the
Perfect.
microphone.
Yes, for Peter sitting at Alicia's house. Yes, great.
My first job was on The Forger. It was the Travolta art heist movie that was shot in Boston five and a half years ago, and it was such a terrible movie. I think it got a 5 on Rotten Tomatoes. But I jumped around there, and then commercials, documentaries. As a production assistant for 3 years, put in my time getting people coffee and trying to learn the equipment. And when I met Craig, I was still a production assistant. I had never touched a camera, and I said,
"Wow,
can I shoot some footage?"
Wait, you didn't tell me that shit.
But he let me shoot it, and rest is history, I guess.
So have you always been into film, or what did you go? Like, what is before the 3 years ago?
What was your
background? Or 5.5 years ago? Yeah, your background.
I went to school for journalism. And
okay.
Then I decided I didn't want to be a journalist. So
it kind of goes hand in hand, really. Maybe you're telling a story, through the camera instead of writing. So it still goes hand in hand.
Yeah, so shit.
Yeah. Yes, I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a gap, and then like 6 months ago or something.
Yep.
How did you find me? He contacted me 6 months ago, and
ever since that time that I got to use Craig's camera, I knew I wanted to be on production with him. And I knew he was a Gloucester guy, and he was a director. And I was in the back of my mind, I just kept on thinking, when I get to the point of shooting my own production, I want to build my own team of just really great people, and I want to get Craig involved.
Right.
And when the
blushing
idea of the Fiesta came up, I thought, Craig's been shooting this for years.
Right.
I'd love to get him on board, and if I can get him on as our director, that'd be fantastic.
So wait, after that time, the first time at Fiesta, when you filmed with him, you never saw him again?
No.
You just kind of was like, thanks for letting me film with you, bye. Like that kind of thing?
Hey, that dude with the cool red beard, bye. See you next Fiesta, maybe.
Yeah,
I followed him online for a couple of years. I'd check back in.
Okay.
And whenever I thought...
which I don't post this bunch of videos. I don't post any of my work almost online at all, strangely enough.
Well, I followed the Sky Prop stuff. And,
okay, right.
And some of the other projects you'd worked on. And I just checked back in as I got further along in my career in the film industry.
Awesome.
And just planning for the future of the crew I wanted to build.
Oh, that's so awesome. That's cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So he hollered at me. What was it, through email or phone or something? I don't know. And originally,
kind of one and the same.
And he was like, "I don't know if you remember me." And he started talking. At first, I was like, "Who the heck?" And then I was like, "Oh yeah, that guy rolled up on me on the yeah." It's like, "Yeah, totally, dude." And so he gave me the pitch. Said, I'm putting together a team, and I want to tell the story of Fiesta, and I want to tell it from the point of view of 2 different Seine Boat teams, Seine Boat racers. And I thought right away, I was like, no, there's an angle I'm excited about.
Right.
I was like, that's...
You like the action.
Yeah, and well, I just like that, but the whole heritage and just I felt like it's always been a little overshadowed. You know, people don't run down to go see people row their asses off for 8 minutes. They run down to watch people fall off the pole dressed as, you know, Homie the Clown, or, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So, so I just thought it was a great angle.
Right.
I was like, that's a great angle. Talk to me. And he gave me the pitch and was like putting together this team and, you know, following Rogue, following Iron
Village.
I was gonna say Iron Horse. Iron Village, and I just like, great, let's do it. You know?
So why did you choose Seine Boat Racing? Like, how did you get this idea?
I was working as a production coordinator on commercials, and Dave Nicastro, he's a rower, and he's a friend of mine. And he came to me with the idea of shooting a documentary or a TV show with the Seine boats and the FIESTA.
Okay.
And I told him, I don't know how we can do this, but I'll figure it out.
Right,
and
right.
That was over a year ago. You know,
Oh, wow.
Before last FIESTA. And so last FIESTA, I scouted the locations. I started making contacts. And then over the past year, I've just been building up the infrastructure I need to try and tackle this project.
Right.
I knew I was going to need a ton of aerial footage. And to hire a drone operator on commercials is $1,500 a day.
Wow.
And so I became a drone operator.
Yeah, exactly,
pilot.
Nip that in the bud.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just learn that.
Yeah,
That's fine.
He went out west and got certified and everything.
Wow.
You know, so
Went out to Las Vegas and trained on the Inspire 2s and some much bigger Matisse 600 Pros. These things, they look like a flying lawnmower. They can carry a 25-pound camera, and so I made some connections out in Vegas with a company that's starting up as a drone rental house, and they decided to sponsor us. And so
Wow.
they're sending us $44,000 worth of equipment and drones. And
for free.
Get out.
Pretty awesome, huh?
Wow.
So that's the only reason why I was able to start the ball rolling with a professional production is that first sponsorship. And then it got more people interested. We were
Right.
going to have actual professional gear. And we started getting professional people on board. John Cooney from Driftwood Film Company. He's
Yeah,
a Gloucester
I love
guy.
John.
He does some great
He's awesome.
commercials. Andrew Nicastro and Alex Sanfilippo from Streamography.
Yeah.
Those three jumped on board at the beginning, and we've just been starting to pick up steam. Mark Nicastro, he built our website.
So you have a dream team. Like, you
putting together-
literally
we're putting
are
together.
putting together this, like, dream team. You have, like, the best of the best, and they love what's even better is all those people you just named love what they do.
Yep.
Right? So this is like going to be so fun, and it's going to be just a great project because you all love what you do.
Absolutely.
And I think
Yeah.
it also it's beneficial that they're local, so they
Absolutely.
know they have the passion for it. They know these people as well, versus having a crew come in that could give
Yeah,
two
that's-
shits, just wants their money.
That's a
and
good
goes.
point. That's a really big point. Now, granted, you know, I spent my childhood, you know, I was born in Salem, but spent my childhood and the summers here and stuff like that in Gloucester. But didn't move back here till 2011, 2012.
See, I didn't even know you were from Salem. I thought you were from down south.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's because the accent. but you know, my heart is so deeply solid in Gloucester. So I think it was really cool to have just a huge crew of people that, you know the area. A lot of them obviously grew up here, like Sean, their entire life. Instead of just, you know, like they do for Wicked Tuna, where they bring in an entire crew year after year. They won't hire locals, so on and so forth. So yeah, we'll tell the story.
Yeah.
Locals
Right.
will tell the story proper.
Because I do remember, I think Nat Geo came out before Wicked Tuna. I think I might have been in California, or I might have been just leaving when they came out to do something with the Greasy Pole before. And there was also Man vs. something where he came out and did it as well. But it was all this LA-based people
Yeah.
that didn't really respect the
Just
town
shenanigans.
or respect the people. You know,
Yeah.
they're just like, this is nuts.
Yeah,
You know.
a bunch of crazy Italians running on a greasy pole, and that's all they care about.
And that's Dave Nicastro's position with our production. He's my community liaison. You know, he knows the community, he knows the Seine boats, and he's going to
Right.
make sure that we do this right.
So who picked the two boats that you're looking at?
Iron Village and Rogue.
Yeah, but why did you pick those two?
Okay, I picked Iron Village because when I was starting this up last year, nobody believed in us. And I had to produce something to start getting people's attention and getting people to believe in the production and wanting to be a part of it.
Right.
And Dave and Mark, they were both on Iron Village's rowing team. They're both members of the gym. And
gotcha.
so that was my in. And to start to get the Iron Village to believe in us, that was square one. And then John Francis, I know John, and I know that he rows dories, co-ed dories with Alex Pizamente, and that she was the
awesome crew, by the way.
Yeah.
Must I say?
Yeah. We were shooting footage of the dories 2 weeks ago. Last week, we're going to be shooting the competition against the Nova Scotians, and tying this into Fiesta as well.
Right.
It's, but John and Alex, fantastic team, and talking to Alex, I convinced her to be a part of the project, to get Rogue Crew involved. They were the champions last year. They're fantastic. And,
they're all nice girls.
And I wanted to make sure that we did an equal portions of the documentary of women and men.
Yes.
Women
Awesome.
are just as big of a part of Fiesta as the men are.
Yes.
And I think it's very important to show the dedication that they put in. Tomorrow morning, we're going to go and film Rogue Crew practicing at 6:30 a.m.
Right.
Friday, they're going to be practicing at 7 p.m. It just varies.
Right. So do you have the schedule of both boats?
I do. I've got the schedule of the Rogue Crew, and then I've got the schedule of all of the male boats. But
do you make all of their practices?
No, we're not going to make them. I mean, it's so much stuff. Like, we've already started gathering footage, obviously, and if you may or may not know at this point, but it's a 3-year plus project.
Oh, it is?
Oh, yes. But the first year is obviously really important to set it off. So, no, we can't follow every crew. And honestly, not everybody wants us to be near them or to film them or any of that jazz or whatever.
Right.
Because, real secrets and whatever they do. So, in order to contain the amount of footage, because we're shooting in 4, 5, and 6K, we can really only follow those two teams for the most part. We're trying to get participation from other people along the way, comments, interviews, that sort of thing. But the idea, the backbone of the film is being told through those two teams and their experiences of the racing. So if you can picture, beautiful interviews and videos of people rowing and training, and them telling stories about Fiesta, and that cutting away to other legends in the community and some of our great elders who have great stories. So the story's going to be told by the community, but it's going to be wrapped around and through those two teams.
Right. Yeah. Gotcha.
So it's not a sports documentary.
Right.
It's not a Fiesta documentary. It's a Gloucester documentary.
Right.
Being told during Fiesta through these two teams, surrounded by 30,000 people that come through that weekend or whatever in our community.
And, if I might just say, and the two teams are going to, as Greg said, be a conduit through the Fiesta, but it's also going to be the Blessing of the Fleet, the Novena. We're shooting on Sunday and on Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
Over at the American Legion Hall.
Right.
We want to make sure that we include the full gambit of what is Fiesta, how did it start, what's the origins, the backbone, the religious ceremonies.
Right.
And then down at the St. Peter's Club for ceremonies and social exchange and
social exchange. I like that word. It's like you're 80 when you said that. And relations with lady.
But one of the really cool when they do the closing ceremonies when the day that they set off the confetti. Oh, that's at the end of the parade on Sunday when they meet back at the St. Peter's Club and they set up all the confetti and stuff. So that's
they
really
got
cool.
confetti cannons this year because Lena. So my friends came from California last year to see Fiesta because I've always talked about it, and then they would see videos and I'd show them videos, and I actually think I showed them one of your drone videos. I tagged them in it, and they're like, fuck it, we're coming. We're going. We're doing this. And we rolled up to the square, and all of a sudden they dropped the curtain on the new replica of St. Peter, and these cannons came out of nowhere. I'm like, We got cannon guns?
We got
confetti cannons? When did we get those?
It's so awesome.
You know, instead of like old men in buckets of confetti just throwing it. But my question to you is, so you've had these teams for, how long have you had these teams that you've been like, hey, we want to do this with you? How, like 6 months, 7 months?
I'd say Iron Village has been on board since the fall.
Okay.
And Road Crew got on board probably 4 months ago.
Yeah.
So when you say that you're also going to be out there at 6:30 in the morning, does that mean you're going to head out of your house at 6:30, or you're going to be on the water at 6:30?
No, we're filming at 6:30.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I walk my dog at like 4:45 in the morning, and so throughout winter, I'm seeing people out on the harbor with the boats and rowing. And Ribby actually was on Rogue for a few years, and I think she might still be, but I don't know if she's on it this year.
Yeah, sometimes in the boats, it depends on the people each year. You might, you usually have like a main crew usually, but then some people will change up every now and again. Just depending.
Yeah.
Rogue has changed up, I know, a couple of times just from the women having babies, right? They're pregnant, they can't row that year. They have somebody else come in, so that's usually one of the main reasons that the women.
So while you guys are
up.
filming them in their training, are you already like, I'm exhausted just watching you guys like do this?
Well, I'm definitely impressed. Definitely impressed. Exhausted, no. Motivated, yes. I mean, it's just until especially for people that have never been boat side or watch people come in and out, watch people train, or watch the races, or maybe you watch them from a distance. I definitely urge them to come down to every single rowing event they can and watch the work that goes into it. It's awesome. It's awesome to experience. And, I'm really excited about the road crew. One, because they're awesome. Great that they're reigning champions. But just promoting, getting more light on the women's teams, I think is huge.
Right.
And as you know, from my history, my wife and as myself as a feminist, I'm all about, representing, the ladies. So, watching Alex, I'm like, no, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Like I got to get back in the gym for a year. Could I ever consider doing this?
The two trailers that I've watched, I don't even think we've talked about the actual title of this movie. Is it a working title or is it?
Oh no,
title?
it is The Pride of Gloucester.
Okay, so The Pride of Gloucester. So I've seen a few different trailers for this, and every time I'm like, God, I gotta go back to the gym.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
you feel lazy very quickly.
Yeah,
you feel lazy very
but also. I think it's great that you also have, because I didn't know anything about it, and then when I saw the two trailers, I was like, oh, they're following a female team, which is great, because let's just say that in Fiesta, it's more of a male-generated situation, because everyone always thinks of the Reese Pole, and everyone always forgets that the women are out there crushing it just as hard, too. So I commend you guys for, doing that as well. I'm sure.
Now that I think about it, when did the women start rowing? What year? Do you guys know?
I don't know what year.
I'm not sure.
Off the top of my head. We've discussed this before.
20 years ago?
Has it been 20?
I think when we interviewed Alex, I think she mentioned 20.
Wow, that's it. That's really not even. That's not even a long time.
Out of close to 100. No, it's not.
Right, exactly. It doesn't. Right.
And there have been some females walking the greasy pole as well. I think there was one 2 years ago. Was one last year? I missed the last two Fiestas because of work. Like I'm out of town a lot.
I don't
so
think
they had. So when National
I
Geographic,
3 years ago, 2 years ago, I saw a woman walk.
When National Geographic
sure it wasn't a dude dressed in drag?
Oh no, they're all dressed in drag.
they had a female walk that year.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
when Nat Geo was here?
Yeah,
maybe that's when it was.
It used to be.
Oh, it was a reporter, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like a journalist that was like, oh, let's try this.
Well, it wasn't.
Oh, I just remember filming and seeing all of a sudden they were like.
It might have been a Friday walker.
Yeah.
She definitely wouldn't have been a Saturday.
Women can walk. It used to be that they couldn't. But if somebody wanted to, they could.
And from what we've heard about the pole itself, that's not something women want to do either.
I don't know if you'd want to fall on. I don't know why a dude would want to fall on that actually.
Oh well, you won't. You'll only hurt your dingles. You won't hurt the
business.
Twig. From what we've been told by several people that have actually walked it, that it's a misconception because that pole's too wide. so you only hit the dingles.
I see. Not full impact.
Nope.
Which could do damage.
Yeah, well, that could. Yes.
It is all the angle of the slam, that's for sure.
Yes.
But yes, we're that's a big angle. This I think it's really awesome. Is that
so? Is this
put some
considered?
emphasis.
You just said this is going to be like a 3-year project. Is this considered year one?
This is year one.
Okay.
And we hope to cut a documentary out of year one and then to add on to it.
Oh,
so
cool.
We hope to release a documentary. What do you think?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, we're hoping to start having stuff together by the winter. Good teaser. It's going to be a tremendous amount of footage.
Right.
And then we have to take into account by releasing the first film how we're setting up this to continue and make it relevant. So there's a lot of science going into the back end of the production. But what we want is a really good coherent kind of it's going to be stunning nonetheless,
Right, of course.
Film about this year, because it's our first year, so we've got to really do something special in order to keep it going.
Right.
And behind that is because these teams flex and move, things change, FIESTA changes, we've had hiccups and speed bumps and misunderstandings, so we realize that in order for us to really, really to tell that amazing 4-year story, maybe it's going to take that many years. Now, keep in mind that we've got footage from the past 7 years of Fiestas. And now the last 2 I've missed because I've been out of town. But over the past 7 years, I've gotten 5 of them. I've got all of Nikki Alice's walks. I've got a lot of really good. And I've got tons of interviews and footage of walkers that have won that no one's ever seen.
Wow.
A ton of stuff.
Wow.
Because originally when I shooting that stuff, being buddies with Joey at GMG. Joey wants me to turn that stuff around 30 minutes afterwards.
Yeah, of course he does. No, he wants it.
I'll study
right
that
then.
footage for a damn month.
Right.
So he's like, get it out right now. So,
Right.
He's my boy, and I'm going to give him some content. So I'll crank that stuff out. But the stuff that's in the cutting room, we have a lot of content backed up that will be accessible, we think, to kind of help tell the backstory. So hopefully when some of these people say, oh, in 2011 or 2012, whatever, my first walk, blah, blah, so we'll have some of that stuff to throw to. Mm-hmm. I've had people that I've met afterwards and become friends with, and, then they realize, oh, you've got all of my walks on camera.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's like, yes, I do. And I've got
That's
really
awesome.
good ones that
Right.
are on a, pretty steady camera.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
not from an iPhone or a drunken boat. So.
Right. Well, you definitely. So, are you currently gathering names of people in the Fiesta, either committee or families, or in the Fiesta world? You guys are currently doing that.
Yeah, we're building a base up right now of people to interview, locals, all that jazz. So, and we're open to. I mean, the idea about this film is that anyone in Gloucester that wants to be a part of it, we're giving them a shot to be a part of it,
Right.
To help tell their story,
Right.
Get in touch with us, and let us interview you,
Right.
Because there's, I found out my neighbor's wife behind us, some good friends of ours, Corey and Caitlin behind us. Her father's a legendary rower and has some great stories.
Yep.
And
Her dad and my dad are first cousins, and they rode together.
There you go.
Because Gloucester.
Because Gloucester, exactly. So,
Yeah.
So it just keeps coming up, and that's why we realize that this is more than just.
Yeah.
It's more than just a this year thing. It's a multiple year thing, and honestly, the footage by the time it's over, when we get people's home videos, whether it's literally film or Super 8 or
Right.
VHS, it might span 30, 40, 50 years of footage. By the end of it, when you think about the earliest stuff we can get,
Right.
of actual, moving footage, we can get older photos, and until this year, that's a huge amount of
a lot.
content and a huge
That's a
project.
lot.
We did a fundraiser at the Cape Ann Community Cinema, and we asked for people in the audience that may have stories to do with Fiesta. And
Wow.
one of
No, that's fine. I was just laughing.
so one of the members in the audience, they actually have footage from the Fiesta back in the 1940s, and the fella, he was telling me that back in that footage there was 100 ships out there for the blessing of the fleet.
Can you
Wow.
imagine?
And that's film.
He
Oh, yeah.
was getting it converted for us, so
That's cool.
we're going to try and put that type of content into the documentary. What
Wow.
was Fiesta back in the 1940s, or Did I say 1940s or 40 years ago?
You said
40
40s.
years ago.
Okay, I think it was
40s.
1940s.
Yeah, 40s. Yeah, the 40s.
Yeah.
1940s.
So it'll come out, hopefully, every scrap of video. And obviously, the archives and stuff in Gloucester, there's a ton of photos and stuff out there to access. But, the moving image first and then, photos second for sure.
So it's interesting because I was at the fundraiser at this cinema.
And thank you for showing it.
You're welcome. And as soon as the documentary that you did show was over in the trailer, I was like, Craig, I got 12 names on the top of my head that you need to talk to. Like, I'm like, I can just keep going, and I can keep going. Obviously, I have nothing to share but people's names. So I'm curious because you both have done documentaries before. Is this different where with documentaries, do you have a storyboard that you're trying to build off of, or is it get the footage and then build the story from there?
It's kind of a combination.
A little bit of both.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. Obviously, like kind of what we've hinted to is that we have a backbone that we want to kind of stick to. Documentaries or any sort of docu stuff in general is the great unknown. So who knows what pops up?
Right.
Some amazing stuff might happen. It might take up that first documentary a lot more than we thought. But yeah, there isn't like a story arc that we can develop until we shoot everything. So something I always tell people, even when it's not documentary stuff, when it's any sort of content that I go out and gather to try to create something from, I always tell people the content will dictate itself. So it'll pretty much, the story will reveal itself. The big story or a new story or a new arch will reveal itself as we go and as we look at the footage. Sometimes not until you look at the footage do you realize, holy crap, look what we have here.
Right.
Did you realize what you caught? That sort of thing. So,
right.
And then the interviews, like really, like the blood that pumps through this film is going to be the interviews of the locals. It's going to be the stories they tell. Let me go to my cabinet. I've got this old photo book I got to show you. Remember Ricky? They're going to break out stuff, and that's going to change everything.
Marty.
Well, you have to. So my cousin Donnie Nicastro was the guardian of St. Peter, right? And he passed a couple of years ago. So you'd really need to make sure that you definitely talk to. He has 3 sons, but his son that's going to best represent him would be Dom Nicastro. Okay, it's my cousin. So definitely have to, because Donnie was so. The St. Peter does not leave the club. St. Peter does not go anywhere. Well, my cousin Donnie's funeral was the first time St. Peter has ever been outside the club, and they put St. Peter in St. Anne's Church. And that was the first time. That was the first funeral ever.
Wow.
So, So it was pretty amazing. So he was the heart of Fiesta. If you're the guardian, then you're it. So you definitely need to reach out to Dom. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and anyone and everyone we can. And that's why I realize that this, as much as we want to get a really nice piece out the first year, because of this constant stories and people that come up, and once people get comfortable and realize that we're not a bunch of out-of-towners, a bunch of people trying to do anything shady,
right,
and that we're spending a crap ton of our own money and time. Yep. We're raising money to try to help pay for insurance and all the...
Gloucester's very protective of their own.
Oh, and naturally...
And so, I mean, they should be very appreciative that two locals want to do this. I mean, I just don't see any other way around it. Yeah. I mean, that's just the way that it should be. Now, are you guys going to
be wearing, like, little flags or banners that say you're with this crew?
No, we'll have lanyards.
Because I feel like... the minute they see a lanyard and a camera, people can be like, "What are you doing?" And you're gonna be like, "Oh, I'm filming a documentary."
They'll do that anyways. Good. The moment you break out anything that's beyond a cell phone or a point and shoot, you got 9 people asking you stuff.
What do you do?
God forbid, when you put up a drone, forget it. You
I'm
have
sure
14
you're gonna have
people.
so many names you won't even know what to do with at that point. Be like, "Oh, you're doing a documentary? Let me tell you about my uncle this and uncle that."
Yeah. Well,
you get that now where you're
we get a combination of stone walls thrown in front of us and doors flying open. Mm-hmm. And it just depends on their predisposition beforehand. Okay, if you're going to be guarded and jaded and don't know all that jazz, and before we come around, you'll probably be that once you meet us.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But once you see what we're doing, then maybe you'll change your game a little bit too.
Yeah.
But it's a combination. I expect people to be guarded. I expect them to protect this town and all that is beautiful about it, and all the ups and downs and craziness that makes this the place that we love. Mm-hmm. But after the first year, and probably actually while this is going on, a lot of things change once people meet us, talk to us,
right?
Realize who we are. Obviously my name doesn't ring for 60 years or 100 years in Gloucester, or my family name necessarily, but my family's been here since the 70s. So we've been trying to be a part of the community as much as that's why I moved back. Mm-hmm. But ultimately we want to make sure that we get the shot at telling this right before somebody else comes in here, like you said, with their $3-4 million crews and they're thumping money and paperwork around, and all of a sudden somebody else is telling our story.
Are you scared that's going to happen?
It ain't now. It's too late now.
It's too late now.
Okay. You're not telling the story we're telling.
Okay.
And no one's going to get the access we're going to get.
Okay.
And from what we can tell from our speed bumps now that are smoothing out, it's going to get better and better. We're going to get more and more access.
Right.
And then I think come next year when we do a really nice release of maybe even a rough cut of just like, let's celebrate what we got so far. Let's all get together in the middle of winter or something to get pumped about Fiesta in January or something.
Right.
Let's do this. So then that's going to change too.
Right.
I think it's also important when people start to realize we're definitely not in this for the money. Our crew is donating hundreds of hours of their own time.
Right.
I've spent 600 hours on this project. I'm thousands of dollars in debt.
We're putting it out there.
Right.
We're putting it out there.
Right.
So there's been a few ups and downs about that. Nobody's making any money.
Yeah.
And it would be, after our expenses, after what, has been put up already, it would be a miracle if this thing ever did. Maybe 3 and 4 years it does. Maybe Discovery picks it up. God forbid, what if one of our some of the local filmmakers actually make $1 doing it? That would be great. Firsthand is we got a lot of things to cover to get it done, first.
Right.
And that's why.
To the passion.
And maybe other people have tried to come in here and do this, and they hit all the walls early and then run. So luckily we're hurling those walls,
right?
And people are jumping over them with us,
right?
And when we look at this project, to get this done with a full production crew, say an LA crew or a New York crew coming in, you're looking at a $500,000 production value
to $750,000 at least,
at $500,000 to $750,000 million. And we initially were trying to figure out how are we going to do this with $60,000, and then it was turned into, all right, how do we do it with $30,000? And the answer is nobody gets paid.
Right, exactly. Right.
How can we do it with 10?
Yeah, how can we do this with...
Can we just cover our insurance?
Right.
And that's where we are right now, just trying to cover our insurances and so that we can film. And then we're going to have to do more fundraisers and more raising of money to do the post-production and to get the back-end insurances.
Right. So, you currently have... What do you currently have set up? You have a GoFundMe page, right?
We do.
Okay. And so what is that, titled? Where can they find it? Like what things are happening that we can find you and help you?
Well, our production page is www.prideofgloucester.com.
Okay.
And when you go to our production page, you can see our trailers, you can see what we're trying to focus on with the documentary, and it's constantly being updated. This is an idea that's just continuing to evolve.
Right,
and from the production page, either at the top of the page or at the bottom of the page, there's Go Fund Us, and that will link you to our GoFundMe.
Okay, awesome. And so you did a fundraiser at the
Cape Ann
Cinema.
And at Jalapenos as well.
Yes.
Oh, and okay, so what...
I missed that one.
Do you have any other ones coming up, or do you have any other ideas about fundraisers, or how are you going to continue to do that, or are you just gonna?
You're focused on recording or filming right now.
Well, I know you're focused on filming, but I mean, in the future.
Yeah, in the future, definitely. And I mean, now we're down to the starting line here. In the future, absolutely, we'll probably put together a nice little 30-minute bit or 15-minute bit, invite people out.
Right.
I think once we have content and once they see, this is Discovery Channel level stuff, A+ level stuff, then I think people are going to get on board, and that's why we know it's a 2 and 3 year process.
Right.
So I think in the next year, starting in the winter, building up to next season. I mean, we're already trying to plan literally for next Fiesta, and we haven't begun this one.
Wow.
But I think that's when we'll gain a little more traction to get some more fundraising.
Yeah.
Fundraising's never easy to just say, hey, give me money.
Right, of course.
It's never easy to ask anyone for money anyways. Give me $10. It's never easy.
Right.
I hated it as a child, standing in front of CVS with a can. I always,
for cheering.
My cheerleading outfit. I'd be like, I have the flu.
And no cookies to give.
No, not at all.
But yes, it's not easy. It's not easy to ask for money. But I think after they see the first season, once they see who's on board, and once they see the story that we want to tell, I think a lot of people should and will take ownership of this and say, let me be a part of that.
Right.
This is for the community.
Yeah, and this is for the community. And we're not going after big businesses and big shots and big money and all that stuff.
Right.
Right now, we just want community members. We want locals.
Right.
Hey, let's try to get these people involved and show that, this is community-based, community-driven, community-produced, and community shared.
Yep.
And then, maybe it is, it's going to be thousands of hours worth of footage by the time we hit 3 years.
Yeah, of course.
That content is a lot to go through and create, but that product that comes out of that, could be very, very special.
Right.
More special. I mean, not that other Hollywood films haven't been beneficial to our town, as we all know, from The Witches of Eastwick to mermaids to Perfect Storm. but this is different. This is something different. And when we watched Around Cape Horn, the documentary we showed at Cape Ann Cinnamon, our first fundraiser, was phenomenal.
Yes.
And so watching that, I thought of the impact of that it had on me and must have on the people that watched it. And, our greatest pride for the Pride of Gloucester is hopefully leaving an amazing piece, when we're long gone 100 years ago, that they go, remember back when they started documenting Fiesta properly. Mm-hmm. Remember 50, 60, 80, 100 years ago when 4, 5, and 6K is now not that high quality or something, but they'll remember we did something, we put our flag on top of the hill for Fiesta
at the end of the pole.
Or at the end of the pole.
So once this is done, where do you want to go with it? So for instance, and I hate to use this, but for example, Catfish was an actual documentary before it became a TV show. If there was something if you guys were the groundbreakers on doing something like this, and then someone was like, hey, we want to take this and follow this for years to come, is that what you guys want? You guys want this for the community to be prideful, to be able to see it. What is the goal?
What's your vision
from this?
I'm conflicted on that.
Okay.
The concept of being a TV show and stuff, because I've been doing television shows for, almost 2 decades actually.
Remind me to talk to you afterwards about something.
I don't know if that's best served for Gloucester.
All right.
We dabbled back and forth and talked about that, but I would like to see this film be on Nat Geo, Discovery, Netflix, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I'll guarantee you this. You'll get it on Netflix in a few years.
Nice.
That's going to happen. But I would rather it get big recognition at film festivals and someone go, we culturally did something for the Italian-American community in Gloucester, and then beyond that, of course, because we have, Portuguese, Irish, we have a mix of everybody here.
Irish avoid it.
Yeah.
I don't think
But-
I don't even
but-
think you can get more Irish than Sean.
But
Sean Casey O'Loughlin.
Yeah, yes, yeah, exactly.
believe it or not, I'm 68%. I know that's hard to believe looking at me. But
If it wasn't for my last name, I'd be Bridget Gallagher. So there's that.
but yes, I think what we really want to do is see this thing succeed as best as it can on the biggest stage that it can, to tell a proper story. It's not about, so we can make a ton of money, or let's bring in a ton of people. No, I don't know if we need to bring in any more people to Fiesta. You know,
Too many cooks in the
that's
kitchen.
not our goal.
Right.
But we're documentarians, and we have to tell a story. That's our responsibility.
Right.
And when good documentaries come out about certain places, they can have an effect. You can't say that Wicked Tuna has not had a tremendous effect on this town, good or bad. Probably mostly good.
I didn't know about Wicked Tuna until I was in Vegas one night, and we were like, I think it was my 30th birthday, and they're like, "Hey, have you seen this show?" And I'm like, "What is it?" They're like, "Are you from this area?" And I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And I was like, "There's a show about my town?"
That's the cut bridge.
They're like, "We're gonna watch this all night." I'm
Well,
like,
so-
"No, we're not."
I was at a cookout and Nancy, Dave Marciano's wife was there, and I'm like, "Where's Dave?" "Oh, you know what? They're doing exactly what she said, because at the time they didn't know what
What it
he
would
was
become.
doing and what they were doing and what Nat Geo was doing." He goes, "They're doing some documentary on tuna fishing boats." So that's what he's doing right now. And then that's when we're like, what? You know, and then it evolved to what it evolved to. But I think that's what Nat Geo originally went in to do. I don't think they went in to do a TV show. I think they went in to do a documentary.
I don't know if that's entirely true.
No?
Because they do these sort of shows early on under the documentary umbrella. Because
Okay.
that means you pay shit to everyone involved.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, did
That's
they know what they were doing?
behind the scenes.
I'm going to tell you this. They knew exactly what the fuck they were doing. They were coming in here for pennies on a dollar and get these guys for $500 for their boats to start, and start this thing off, because Deadliest Catch has been out for years before then.
Yeah.
So everyone's
right.
been chasing this down, and 10 companies have done it and shot X, Y. Everyone's tried to do it.
Right.
How do we do the next, that? So they knew
Right.
what they were doing. They pay you pennies on the dollar and under umbrellas of documentary work, but they
And
knew what
then
they were
they-
doing.
okay.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing.
So I know that you had said that you guys don't want this to be like kind of like a sports film, but do you, in an underlying way, kind of come to the realization that anyone that does see this film, and younger children of the town too, start to see this, might get inspired by these
Absolutely.
teams, kind of like American Ninja Warrior, where they're like, these people are coming out of nowhere. They're sitting on their couch, 300 pounds, and all of a sudden see someone that's 48 that climbs up the warped wall, and all of a sudden is like, I want to do that.
Exactly.
I mean, your trailers made me feel like that, but then I also went home and ate Ben and Jerry's, so there's that.
Don't worry, we go home and drink beer and eat pizza when we're done. We've discussed that actually quite a bit. And the teams have expressed with us a lot of this same thing.
Yeah.
And as much as, as you can imagine, we hit roadblocks
Right.
all along the way.
Sure.
A lot of these teams do have that concern. And just like a lot of things, how do we keep the youth involved? In cultural things and things that are part of heritage and history. And that's a big concern. And yes, it is part of that. It is part of, we sure as hell want the youth, the young, strong youth, Alicia, looking at your son, Tyler, to think about this and to be inspired by this and realize that, this is something unique and special. It's very unique and special to this area for what we do and how we do it. So yes, it's a big thing, right, Sean?
Yeah. I'm completely on board with trying to inspire the youth to get involved in these sports that are honoring their heritage. Give them a sense of the fishermen and the community that they came from, and that it's actually cool to take part in these projects and these these sports and to get physically fit. And
Well, they have junior league now, you know,
Yeah.
and I don't know how long
Junior
that
women's, junior
when that
men's.
started, right? Because
I do not know when that started.
I don't
We
know
need to
when that
buckle
started
down.
either. I can't remember. I can't remember if it was around when I was in high school, if they had already had the junior league. I can't remember that, but their junior league is they're high schoolers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's also, you know, really cool. And so it's amazing. Obviously, it's an amazing project, and it's very incredibly positive. So when you say roadblocks, what do you mean by that? I mean, because in my eyes...
That was not on my sheet. That was not on my sheet.
Because in my eyes, I think this is
because she's Italian.
amazing. Right? It's
Yes.
amazing. It's very positive. And when something very positive happens in a community, why would anybody think elsewise, or what roadblocks is there any that you can speak of? Because to me, I think it's a no-brainer. When something positive is coming to your city, you should embrace it.
Naturally, you should. Now, I won't say anything specific.
Which is fair.
Which is fair.
For the
I'm
sake of us working hard to fix those roadblocks and get rid of those speed bumps.
And this could be edited out.
But everybody knows in any community, they're going to be guarded. They're going to be protective. They're going to be cautious. They've heard that tune 5 times. So, you know, naturally, you're going to run into that. Whether it's just, you know, one of the rowers on a team, whether it's, you know, someone that works higher up in the city, whether it's someone that's involved, it's going to happen. It's naturally going to happen. Now, how you work through that will get you to the finish line.
Right.
So we expected some roadblocks. You know, we're doing a project that we're new at. You know, this is a very specific type of thing involving an entire community and lots of people. So all the roadblocks were not unexpected and not unwarranted.
Right.
So I would just say that we're working through them. I think we've worked through most of them.
Good.
And I can completely understand the caution, because God forbid I would want to protect anything that I had been involved with for 40, 50, 60 years myself.
Right.
And that had been part of my, you know.
But someone's bringing it to light, and which I think that everyone should be so grateful that people are putting in their own time to make something amazing come out of it. Because yes, you might live it every fiesta for your past 40 or 60 years, but it's not documented. And I mean,
documented right.
You know exactly. You
and
know what I mean?
and that's one of the that's a detail that I was hoping and still hoping that everyone starts to pick up on is, you know, relax. We are here to tell the story correctly.
Right.
And the story we're going to share is going to be the one we also want to share. We don't want to share, you know, if there's a situation, say at Fiesta, or God forbid, a drunk does something wrong at Fiesta, or something goes wrong elsewhere while we're filming. We're not obligated to show everything we film.
Right, exactly.
We're obligated to tell the movie that we want to tell. And the movie
Right.
that we want to tell is a completely 100% positive version of all the things that have gone into this for the past 90 plus years.
Right.
So no, we're not, you know, Nat Geo coming in here and, oh, when the shit hits the fan and, you know, and, oh, I can't wait to get that, you know, that fight on camera. Man, we honestly don't give a crap about that.
Right.
Because it's not going to do me any good.
That's not what it's about.
You know, it's not going to do me any good.
Yeah.
We, you know, when you go back to what you said about storyline and all that stuff, you know, we sure as hell have no plans on showing negative stuff.
Right.
I don't care if we gather it or not, and I'll be damned if I ever cut my camera off. So I'll be filming everything. So if something does go, I'll be in there with it, because 50 years down the road, that might be a valuable documentary too. But, you know, across the board, it's a tough thing for people to get close to what your baby is, be it the Fiesta. And so we're fighting to make sure we get close enough to get everything we can.
Right.
In the same way that the Fiesta participants are honoring their heritage, we see this documentary as a way to honor the town and honor the participants. And we're going to live in this town for the rest of our lives.
Then there's that.
Yeah.
You can find me.
Yeah. Right.
So, question for you. So, when you go out to film their training, How many cameras are you rolling out there with, and how big is your boat?
Day to day, that's going to change.
Okay.
Day to day, that's going to change.
So you're not on a dinghy, like following alongside
No. We're doing stuff from drones, doing stuff from shore, doing stuff from chase boats. It's all about to develop itself, actually, in the next week.
So you guys are also in the discovery process of doing this, too.
Absolutely.
Because it's so unpredictable, especially with the tides and whatnot.
Everything's unpredictable. As we said, we're a gang of people that are working hard around what we regularly do to try to pay bills. A bunch of us are actually dropping a ton of work to make it happen, Sean and I, and other guys. And when people are accessible, like when, this came up, so there's a lot of, getting people around when we can get them around, because it is the nature that it is. If we had $200,000 out the gate, like if somebody came in and said, yes, I love that idea, your boy from New Balance, oh yeah, here's 200G, make it happen. Oh, then we can all just lock it in, make it happen. We're juggling it just like literally the rowers and everyone else in training. Oh, I'm off this day. Oh, I can't get off that morning. They're all fighting and struggling to get together to train, to get their timing together so that they can, do something special in that, 10 minutes that they have to be special. So yeah, we're constantly figuring it out in the next week.
So you guys don't know on the day of the big race how this is even going to go down?
Ultimately, no. We know who will be available on those days and where we're going to put them.
You have boats out there just waiting?
Yeah, we're going to have boats out there.
Okay.
We'll be on shore. If we're allowed, we'll have cameras mounted somewhere on a boat if possible, very small and light. That's also a hiccup, but obviously extremely essential. We will have cameras mounted on people, but we'd like solid one on the boat. So there's a lot of logistics, literally starting tomorrow, everything hits the fan.
Wow.
Everything hits the fan
on the back
tomorrow.
end as filmmakers. How excited and stoked are you guys to be able to do all this kind of stuff and be like, oh, we're going to do so many things. It's so crazy. Versus we have to do so many things.
Oh, it's the latter.
Okay.
Yeah, we're freaking, it's Christmas morning for us. It's tomorrow starts it. We've done a few things, but once the boats hit the sand, that's when the shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
It's it's showtime starting tomorrow. So
this past year has been building the infrastructure, and then finally tomorrow we start shooting and recording the actual.
So your baby, in a sense, is finally starting to walk.
Yeah, water breaks tomorrow. Literally, water breaks tomorrow.
You could be in labor for a few days.
Double entendre.
That's what I've been told.
Yeah, and we will be. So yeah, you can imagine knowing that 3 and 4, and honestly 4 years might be more safer to say than 3. But yeah, tomorrow is literally cameras get cut on tomorrow.
Wow. So are you guys going to sleep tonight?
Oh yeah.
Are you guys not gonna be like, I'm so excited, can't wait?
No. I'm like that almost every day for projects, but this is special. This is special. To get the first 3 or 4 days under our belt, we haven't even had because this is a lot to get together.
Yeah.
Every single person that's been involved up to this point, all of us haven't been in the room at the same time yet.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
And that's going to be special. We all haven't met. So once we get all that together and do that, and we don't know when that's going to happen yet because of the moving parts.
Right.
And because of the speed bumps and everything else. Right. Aggregating equipment from California and Las Vegas and lots of, Red Camera, who, if most people don't know, but a lot of movies they watch are shot on Red. Red's one of our sponsors now.
Oh, wow.
And they've provided us with a $60,000 camera. And that's just literally a block of steel. It's just the camera itself. God. So, everything starts tomorrow. Tomorrow is I guess the beginning of the 12 days of Christmas. Because, the race, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is, obviously, the big fiesta. But yeah, everything starts tomorrow for us.
Wow. Yeah, because to be honest with you, I don't know that much about the Seine Boat races.
Everyone's going to learn all about the history of this very quickly.
I know their names.
And, I'll tell you, when we talked with Safathia, just to, brief with her a little bit, the amount of information that she had
Oh,
just crushed us in 30 minutes.
yeah.
It goes way back beyond when it was called St. Peter's Fiesta.
Wow.
It goes way back beyond who's rowing boats and when and why.
Right.
And the stories she told and memories from childhood, unbelievable.
Right, of course.
And then it's going to be that 100-fold in the next 3 years.
Right.
You know, and so that's why we really want to get to everyone we can.
Right.
You know, I had a lovely neighbor next door who unfortunately passed away about a year and a half ago, who almost made it to 106, I believe.
She passed?
Yeah.
And I would have loved to have interviewed her about Fiesta,
Right.
but this hadn't started yet, and I didn't think about it. I imagine she remembers every damn one, or knows when it started.
Right.
So, God, we want to get to those people, you
Right.
know, before it's too late.
Right.
You know, if we're doing anything, we're preserving history.
Oh, obviously.
You know,
yeah.
I mean, our goal is to entertain and make a piece that people want to watch and cheer and clap at the end. You know, laugh, cry, clap at the end, whatever. But I mean, we're documenting history.
So,
you know?
do you have a different perspective of Fiesta now that you're starting to film than you had before?
Oh yeah, absolutely, completely.
So what has changed?
Well, for me, I would say the first couple of years that, I mean, I went to Fiesta as a kid, barely remember, you know what I mean, the summers and stuff. It was obviously very different then, but remembering it, say, like when I was 19 or something, but then, you know, say in 2011 when I started filming it, you know, I'm excited about the crowds and the beach and the rides and the greasy pole and stuff. And I knew about the blessing of the fleet and, you know, other this and that and the other. But it was really just about, you know, the party and the excitement and the crowds on the beach and the greasy pole.
Right.
Which is a spectacle, obviously.
Right.
But now that is just literally a quarter of it, a fraction of it.
Wow.
You know, the religious context that it has, the importance of blessing the fleet when there was 1,000 boats out there, you know, the seriousness of men going down at sea,
Right.
the Seine boats and what they did to feed not just the East Coast and the United States and other countries, all the way down to South Americas. The deep history of those fish that were caught on those Seine boats that were rowed back to those schooners that literally fed the slaves.
Right.
There's a lot going on here.
Right.
You know, and it all comes from that sea and those boats.
Right.
So now I realize what it means when those people grab those oars and they start cranking out there with everything they have.
Right.
With that name on that boat and that name on their shirt and the name of who they're rowing for.
I'm getting misty just listening to this.
This shit's serious.
Right.
You know, this is a lot more than rowing boats and drinking beers.
Right.
This is heritage and it's serious.
Right. Right.
It's very, very serious. And so we're just going to try to capture that, you know, starting now.
Right.
You know?
What does it mean for you, Sean?
Well, I think Craig said it far more poetically and with passion than I can put into words. But coming into this Fiesta, prior to this year, I didn't know too much about the history. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what the Seine boats or the greasy pool were really about. I didn't know the other festival ceremonies. I didn't know about the blessing of the fleet or the importance of the novena, the backbone of Fiesta.
Right.
And going through this past year has just been a trial by fire educational course, and then meeting with the people that Fiesta is so important to, the people that kind of hold the gauntlet of Fiesta in the Fiesta committee. Joe Novello, I've met with him, and he's very passionate about the integrity of Fiesta. And as I've been meeting with Joe and Michael Linquata yesterday, and having this connection to these people that this is so important to them, I'm now starting to be able to say, I'm going to do my damnedest to make sure that this honors you and your efforts.
Right, absolutely.
the responsibility is definitely on our shoulders.
Yeah.
And our reputation as well.
Well, right.
You know, if we don't treat it right, and obviously it'll be hard to please everybody.
You'll never be able to set foot on that porch again. But
No. I'll have to buy the porch before I set foot on it again. But no, it's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
We take it extremely seriously. All at the same time, we got a group of great people and want to have fun making this film.
Right.
So between all the ups and downs of it, as you can naturally imagine, will happen. I think we're gonna have something special.
Of course.
And I think that it might be a bit. I don't know what the proper word. Might be a bit ridiculous, but I hope that what we do is a part of Fiesta eventually.
Yeah.
That maybe people in the past have looked forward to, me shooting the greasy pole or doing a video or something for GMG. I want them to look forward to, man, I can't wait to see
just once a year
what the Pride of Gloucester, 3.0.
That could be the kickoff. Once it's in full
yeah.
production, it could be the kickoff. It's like, I wouldn't say like, the Fiesta committee would turn around and be like, hey, let's watch this video together and then go.
Cape Cinema, Cape
But
we're going to do that.
It'd be a pregame, though.
Yeah, pregame, exactly. And whoever wants to be involved, as we said, will be involved.
Right.
Nice.
Every interview, every person, anyone that has a story to tell, photo, video,
Right.
bring it out. I mean, we've lost people along the way. We don't want their stories to get lost.
Right.
Let's make sure we get that in there too.
Right.
Yeah.
So, big, gigantic, this is way beyond, say, bikini speedo dodgeball.
Yeah.
This is something else.
Yeah.
This is our island, and like we said in one of the teasers. I mean, this is Gloucester's story. I mean, this is our story.
Right.
And this is one that the world's going to look upon and see us.
Right.
And realize that we're more than just what they thought before.
In such a positive light.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Sean, is there anything that we didn't cover that you want to go over, or do you think we touched upon everything?
I think we've done a very good and thorough job.
Anybody else that you want to, that we did, if you didn't mention, shout out, or anybody in your team?
All the crew.
Like that?
Let me just say that when we went on Good Morning Gloucester, I made an error when I talked about Iron Village. They came in second place last year, not third place.
Well, it's a good thing Joey didn't record that, huh?
Good thing it was only on my Facebook page.
And it's no longer there either,
No.
there's that.
And Iron Village is, that gym is in Beverly, right?
It is. It's a strength and conditioning gym.
Yeah.
And they train year round at Iron Village.
Yeah. They, it's a pretty amazing gym. And
the road crew, they train year round at a gym as well.
Wow. It's pretty amazing.
As I don't either.
There's an amazing bond between Iron Village and Cape Ann CrossFit. So yeah.
I think it's meant to. All of this was meant to be like someone found you, Sean, and Sean found Craig, and you guys are all doing it together for literally the Pride of Gloucester,
Right.
which is a
Damn,
fantastic
Skippy.
thing.
Yeah.
It's my wife, Anna Kimberly. Dr. Kimberly.
Well, our listeners know who she is.
I know they
Yeah,
do.
she was.
We have a following.
We have been following her. She was on our episode. So
It was the Dr., Mr., and Mrs. Craig Kimberly.
awesome. All right. Anything else?
I'm good.
Good. Awesome.
Thanks, girls.
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank
guys.
you, Hannah.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you,
And
guys.
so you guys are, kicking off our Fiesta, and then next week we have on Mr. Samo Frontiero.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He's a character, so it's great. So we just have our, Fiesta legends just.
I'm gonna say this. When you start interviewing guys that walked, ask them for their tattoos, their greasy pole tattoos.
Oh, yeah.
It is
Guarantee
the
they
most
probably have
amazing
them.
thing, because they will go into a 45-minute conversation with
I've
you
seen
about,
some.
about one
what
walk.
yeah.
Their victorious one walk.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
Just a quick note on those. The level, not to discount those guys, the level of dedication and training and heart that they put into it is outstanding and phenomenal. And will be part of the film. We're getting at a bunch of those guys, too.
Right.
Talking to you, Joe DeSilva. So I'm getting at a bunch of those dudes to tell that story proper, too.
And if I might just mention Rose Floyd from Soft Touch. the owner. She
Yeah.
she has been a phenomenal resource for me as I've been trying to make the connections within the Gloucester community.
Right. Amazing. Awesome.
All right.
Yay. I'm so excited.
And you too, Bridget and Alicia. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for sitting down with us.
Did we break your record for the longest damn podcast?
Nope, not at all. Not even remotely close.
Oh, that is so awesome.
John Jerome still has 43 minutes on you.
So, if you want, let's look at some gear.
All right. Well, thank you guys, and I can't wait to see everything I just can't wait for this whole project, and definitely follow you along the way. And thank you guys.
Well, I've been following. I don't know where you've been.
Well, I've been traveling.
following.
I was when you went to the Cape. Where even was I when you went to Cape Ann Cinema?
World
I
travel.
don't know, but I watched their whole live feed on GMG and Facebook. And
Well, I
stuff,
did.
too.
I just said that I watched the live feed from the airport. I think I was in Georgia at that point. But then when you
But I was doing
to,
research. I was like, oh, I didn't ask that question. I'll write that one down. I didn't ask that question. I'll write that one
and
down.
it's gonna kill me still. Where I was I in St. Louis?
I think
You
so.
might have been in St. Louis. If I think Facebook, yeah.
Okay.
I don't like
All right.
that.
So
Well,
much
anyway.
travel.
Either way, don't matter.
So
I'm
much
editing
traveling.
this.
Till our follow-up podcast. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Yes, that will definitely happen.
We will reach back out to you guys once you guys are done with Fiesta. Once Fiesta's done, be like, so how'd it go?
Right. Right.
How'd everything go?
Or even in January when or even when they put out a teaser.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, whatever.
We'll still be in touch,
Yeah. Not like we don't
so
know where they're going.
we can find you at www.prideofgloucester.com.
That's correct.
All right. Now, do you have a Facebook page for it yet, or no?
We do.
Yes.
Oh, okay, you do.
So you can type in Pride of Gloucester and you'll find our Facebook.
All right.
Perfect.
So everyone needs to go to Facebook,
Like that.
like it, follow it.
I believe our Facebook page is currently for the fundraisers, but the production page is more of where we're going to post more content.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
But that's good to know.
Moving parts
Yes.
coming up.
All right.
Proud of Gloucester. Represent.
Great.
All right. Well, thank you guys,
Thank you, Alicia.
you.
Unleashed.
and we're out. Peace.